Was there a specific moment of friction in your own life that you were like, okay, I need to do something here?
My dad's been passed away for probably 20 years, so things just kind of sit back there and resonate. So after
Do you believe the future of healthcare monitoring, it must be passive and multimodal rather than device dependent?
again, there's less nurses and doctors taking care of mom or dad, right? And so you've got
What is multimodal
a
AI?
lot of standard AI is at the camera level, right? So we have what we call a safe core box. So
How do you balance that need for patient safety in this particular situation with that fundamental right to privacy?
all of our information is stored right there at the premises on our safe core box. It's separately done. So
What's the most difficult leadership lesson that you've learned?
most everything that I've done in the past, I kind of knew how to do it, right? I know how to raise capital. I know.
Hello and welcome to Healthcare Journeys. I am your host, Kevin Rosenquist. Thanks for being here today.
This podcast is brought to you by S2M Health, a trusted partner for U.S. healthcare payers and providers. From accurate risk adjustment coding to full spectrum RCM services, S2M Health combines clinical expertise with precision operations to drive better outcomes across the healthcare ecosystem.
Our guest is Scott Boruff, the CEO and founder of SafeSpace Global. Scott spent over 30 years as a high-stakes investment banker before a personal family experience. His father's wish to age safely at home shifted his focus entirely. Frustrated by the limitations of traditional wearable buttons and pull cords, Scott began investing his own resources nearly a decade ago to develop multimodal AI technology. Today, SafeSpace is leading the way in ambient safety, turning standard environments into intelligent, protective spaces that can see and hear emergencies without requiring a patient to wear a single device. Scott, welcome.
Hey, man, thanks, Kevin. Glad to be here. I love talking, and this is going to be a fun story.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
excited about it because
yeah,
what you guys are building is and have built is pretty impressive. So I wanted to talk about your journey moving from 30 years as an investment banker to
right.
AI healthcare, which is not
Yeah,
exactly the typical route I think
yeah,
most people
exactly.
take. Was
Yeah.
there a specific moment of friction in your own life that you were like, okay, I need to do something here?
It happened a long time ago. My dad's been passed away for probably 20 years, so things just kind of sit back there and resonate. So after I finished my last gig at an oil and gas company, I'm like, it's time to go recreate what he tried to create 20 years ago, and that was basically that people were living longer and there's less doctors and nurses to take care of them. And
Mhm.
so in 2016, I ventured at the time what was called indie living, which was short for independent living. So dad wanted to live at home, age at home gracefully. And the only thing they had back in the day is the little lanyards that you have to wear or the watches that you have to wear. It makes you feel old, right? And this is like, I'm
Mhm.
not going into a nursing home. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to age right here. And so when the time came, I founded Indie Living, and man, being an investment banker, raised over $1 billion in debt and equity, taking private companies public. I'm like, man, I can use my background to try to fix this. And I've made more mistakes than you can imagine. I tried sensor radar, lidar radar, cameras, like anything you can imagine, and ended up on camera technology because camera literally checks all the boxes to save the most lives, and so that's where we ended up at. And so yes, it's been a good journey. So we started out private in 2016. I spent about every dollar that I had before I ran out of cash, and then I took the company public in 2018 via what we call bootstrap to New York. So I did a triangular reverse merger and raised some capital to continue the journey from friends and families, and spent the last 7 years, 8 years building the team and building a product that solves a problem. And as we sit here today, looking to uplist to the New York American this year, and we've got a product that, like you said, nothing to wear, no lanyards, no watches. In nursing homes and senior care, if your mom or dad's living there and has dementia, they just get out. And the only thing that's in the space right now is Wonder Guard, which has a little watch that they wear, and mom or dad usually cuts them off, and then they get out and
Mhm.
escape and they die. And that's an issue. Between that and falling is the one and two number one problems. And So our technology is biometric facial recognition. If mom or dad gets near a door that they're not supposed to be at, the door locks. And that's pretty cool. And then it sends an alert to the doctor and nurse or whoever. And so all of a sudden, no more escaping and dying. And same thing for
Wow.
falls. Yeah, same thing for falls. So again, no lanyards. Everybody's heard the help I'm falling, I can't get up commercials over the last
Of
30
course.
years. And yeah, they've
Yeah.
seen this, falling down steps. And it's like, that's just again, they don't like to wear that. And half the time they don't wear it, especially in nursing homes or senior care. Even if they have the lanyard, they'll get back to the room and take it off. And then
Mhm.
that's when they fall and lay there behind closed doors for 3 hours in pain. And so
Yeah.
you're eliminating all that. And so AI safety, and then this past year we got so much traction that it's like, can you do this for schools? Can you save lives at schools? All these
Yeah.
school
I mean,
shootings,
there's a lot
and
of places I could see that technology
yeah,
being incredibly valuable.
yeah. So my daughter's just graduated University of Tennessee, got her master's in education. She's a first grade teacher, and I talked to her about our product. I said, "Hey, we're saving lives at schools, with through AI." And people said, "What does your AI do?" Well, it does three things for a school. If it detects, identifies the person, place, or thing. So if it's a man or a woman coming in the parking lot, we call it multimodal. So it'll get their license plate recognition. So it'll recognize them by their license plate. It'll identify them. If they've got a criminal record, it'll tell you exactly on your phone, Jane Doe's in the parking lot, here's her criminal record. Or if she's not got a record, it'll just tell you 5'2", whatever. So it identifies the person. It detects the threat. What is the threat? Is it a gun? Is it a knife? Is it a bomb? What is the threat? And when it detects that threat, it then sends an alert to the human in the loop. So the human in the loop gets it and says, yeah, that's a gun, pushes a button, sends it to the school resource officer.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they lock the school down. Then they're proactive versus reactive. So schools have cameras, but they spend a lot of money on cameras, but it's reactive, right? So we need
Sure.
to be proactive to save lives. So in real simple, it identifies, detects, and alerts in a matter of 15 seconds. And it's already saving lives as we speak. So
That's
it's kind of
incredible.
fun.
As
Yeah.
a father of a preschooler, like that is
Yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
to hear. I
Yeah.
appreciate it very
Yeah,
much.
well, I mean, I got 7 grandbabies. I got 2 more on the way, so I've got 9. So, when I was growing up, and it was nothing but, tornadoes and, fire alarm alerts,
Yeah.
all that stuff, but not guns and knives and all the stuff
I
that we
never
got
had
going
that
on.
either. I never had that
It's
either. Yeah.
it's just
Mhm.
crazy. So
It
it's
is.
exciting working for a company that has a great cause, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. The wearable, it's interesting when you said that because, when I was researching you guys and stuff and, thinking about the problem and looking into the problem that you guys were
yeah,
fixing. I mean, you mentioned the cutting off the wristband and
yeah.
escaping, but aside from that, I mean, people forget, I forget to put,
Oh
to
yeah,
do
oh
stuff. You know what
yeah,
I mean? I mean,
exactly.
it's not
Yeah,
always easy to remember to put that watch on, to put that pendant on, to do anything like that.
yeah.
So do you believe the future of healthcare monitoring, it must be passive and multimodal rather than device dependent?
I think it does. And I think it's got to be, again, there's less nurses and doctors taking care of mom or dad, right? And
Right.
so AI's got to fill the gap. And I felt that since 2016. So you can imagine me walking into a nursing home in 2020. Hey, I want to put a camera in your room. Yeah, I'm the nanny cam guy. Like, really? You're going to put a camera in our room? I was like, well, I'm not that guy. We're not going to sneak a camera. We're going to put a camera, and it just kind of sits up there in the corner. It doesn't film all the time. If an alert happens, that's when it films, buffers back, and sends an alert. And we can make it like a toy or something. You can change the film. You can blur mom or dad totally out. But mom or dad's usually in there because they've fallen already. That's usually why they're in a nursing home or in assisted care, and they
Right.
need taken care of. So that's really not, we found out when we were putting it in, it was like, don't put it in my room, put it in Jane's room because she falls all the time. Then you can put it in my room once you get her taken care of. So everybody kind of cares for each other in those assisted care facilities, which you can just see the love and see see the problem we're solving. And
Mhm.
literally in nursing homes and assisted cares, they fall every day and they break their hips and they die because they're behind doors and there's not enough people to take care of them. And so while we're in there, it's like, well, we have to have staffing. So these nursing homes are understaffed, so they got to have third party staffing come in and staff. And what we found out, through working with our clients at Signature Healthcare. They have like 75 locations throughout Tennessee and Kentucky. And he's like, Scott, these third-party vendors are stealing time from us. And I said, what does that mean? He said, well, they say they get here at 6 in the morning. They say they leave at 6 at night, and they have like a little buddy system and they clock in system or a fingerprint, but we know that they're not there all the time. If they're not there,
Mhm.
they're not taking care of mom or dad. And so we installed our cameras to do that. And so now again, there's no buddy system. There's no clocking in. There's no punching in. When they walk through the door, it clocks them in. And when they walk out for a 15-minute break, an hour later, it clocks them out. And if that 15-minute break turns into an hour break, they stays out. And then when they come back in, clocks them back in, and it reconciles it. And the first nursing home, first assisted care facility that we did, we saved them about $30,000 in stolen time,
Yeah.
verified. And we have a patent on that as well. So when you got two clients that want something verified and reconciled, we have a patent. We call it the mother of all patents that says, hey, if you're going to record it, this is what it is and this is what it does. And and literally AI can tell. I didn't realize how many different types of faces people have with masks on, with hats on, with scarves on. The same lady can look different to the human eye,
True.
but the AI will pick it up.
So we've talked about multimodal AI a couple times. For our listeners, clinicians, executives, maybe that don't understand that, what is multimodal AI and how does a system that combines visual, auditory, and movement data differ from the standard AI that we've seen in the past?
Yeah, so a lot of standard AI is at the camera level, right? So there's off what we call off the shelf AI. There's AI in the cameras, and we have what we call a safe core box. So we have about 50 technicians in India. We have an office in India that literally develop our code, just kind of like Tesla has their own code, but there's other electric cars. There's off the shelf code and there's Tesla's code. So ours is our own proprietary AI software that we're developing. And when we say multimodal, we think that literally the future needs to have, like for schools, just not AI that detects a gun. We need license plate recognition that literally gets it on the perimeter when they come into the parking lot.
Right.
If that's a threat, then you know it right then. And then when they get out of the car, it's a threat because the AI can see the gun. But we have something that's really special that we've signed a non-binding letter of intent with BMRT, and they have what we've looked for all over the country, which nobody has found, which was concealed weapon detection. It's not weapons, it's actually gunpowder. So we're developing a partnership with those guys to where their product sees it when the car comes in, knows that a car is coming into the nursing home or the school or the prison or the transportation. So it sees the car out there on the perimeter. It detects and notifies our AI. Our AI identifies it, sends an alert to the human in the loop, and then pushes 911, for the alert. So it's literally what they call a single pane of glass protection, safety AI. And that's kind of our multimodal. The things that are out there are just like what we call one-off deals. Like, yeah, we see a gun and that's it. But we don't alert, we don't do this, we just do that. And so ours is like, and even for schools and everything, for like internet scraping. So for schools, they always leave a fingerprint. Like you're going to see me on national news today, and I'm going to die, and they always send that out there to their friends before they go commit the crime. And so
Mhm.
we, by multimodal, we want to do multiple things to protect our students and our kids and our moms and dads, and that's what we mean by multimodal. It's not just one; it's a multitude of things solving the problem.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
fascinating.
yeah, yeah.
And
BMRT just got written up like by the Space Command Center of things they're testing for the government and everything else that'll blow your mind. And we're fortunate to partner up with those guys. They needed AI, and we needed what they had, which is concealed, weapon detection, i.e., gunpowder. And it's like a little radio wave that sends the signal out, and it comes back when it detects, gunpowder, which is kind of wild. It can detect, AR-15 at 575 feet away. And
that's
so talking
incredible.
about, yeah, we want to set the national, we want to set the national standard for safety in nursing homes and schools, transportation, and prisons.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love
it's
it. That's
crazy.
incredible.
It's
And
crazy.
another side thing too is I mean we've all heard about the massive burnout crisis among nurses and caregivers
Yes.
and things like that in healthcare, especially
Yes.
post COVID.
Yep.
I mean, this technology has got to kind of help bridge that labor gap to some degree, because it's almost like a sort of an invisible like not responder, but like an invisible colleague almost.
Yeah, yeah, it's like we call it AI in the sky. So if you got these cameras all over the facility, the nursing home space is like the second most regulated space in the country, next to like nuclear waste or
No
something. It's kind
kidding.
of crazy. Yeah, they're regulated like crazy, and they get fined like for these elopements when mom or dad gets out of a nursing home. They get like $100,000 fine, and if they get out and they die, it's millions. And so they run on thin margins as it is. And
Yeah.
another product that we have that they absolutely love, and again, it's kind of like we're building a custom home for a client. So we go to the client and say, "What are your problems? How can we solve them?" And one of the biggest problems, because they're so regulated, is when an issue arises. Mom didn't get her medicine in room 202. They have to fill out a report and look at this normal camera running for like 6 hours. Here's Jane Doe, the nurse, going through the system all day long. And what used to take 8 hours to find out if Jane got her medicine now takes 8 minutes, because our AI with the biometric facial, you can push a, we call it SafeSpace Sam, and we just push a button, where was Jane today? And it just runs this report. And what used to take 8 hours takes 8 minutes to, now they don't have to, now they're saying, well, can you fill out the report as well? And yeah, we can fill out the report and take, take this little piece of clip with it and send it in. So that's what we're working on next for them. Again, we have to get them back to doing what they went to school for, is to
Right.
take care of mom and dad, not fill out all this paperwork and get sued and all that stuff. So
Yeah, it's a
that's
problem
kind
with
of fun.
everywhere. Every part of healthcare, doctors,
Yeah.
nurses, surgeons, doesn't matter. It's like
Yeah.
this. You hear about all these stories about these doctors who, especially if they want to start their own practice, and they're spending
Yeah.
so much time doing paperwork and
Yeah.
filling out forms and doing the compliance stuff, that they're not doing what
Yeah.
they're trained to do, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Yeah. I was getting my physical last month, and at the end of the physical, everything was good. That was good. I said, man, you just need to be using our agentic AI to do all this stuff where you can just sit here and talk to me. And all of a sudden he smiled and he pulled over and grabbed his phone, and he was recording the whole thing. And
Hmm.
again, I said, good, I'm proud of it, because I said, that's what you need to be doing. And
Yep.
then that'll take it down and break it down and send it where it is and drop the certain codes in for whatever you're prescribing to me. And that's the future. And
It is.
yeah, and that way you can spend 20 minutes in a room talking to me once a year.
Yeah, and I mean, just sitting at my desk, like as a non-physician doctor, like I mean, just the amount of recording I do, and how it helps me organize everything and stay on task without sitting there mind numbingly having to fill out
Yeah.
cells and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really is amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's
Yeah,
fun. So, I mean, again, to help find these solutions, like we have 12 use cases, and we need 100, we need 1,000, but
right.
it's hard building, again, from somebody that my first code that we wrote back in 2016. I gave the guy the credit card, and I was so proud coming there to see how the code's progressing, this, that, and the other. And he's like, Mr. Boruff, we lost all your information. I said, what do you mean you lost all my information? He said, well, your debit card didn't work. And I looked at it and I was like, well, it expired 2 months ago. I said, is anybody going to call me and say, hey, give me, your card expired, and we lost like, I don't know, $80,000 worth of code. And this coding guy's like, well, do you not have a backup? I says, no, we just use it in the cloud and blah, blah, blah. So again, this has been a long journey, a long ride. I'm a
You never
banker, but
got
I
that code back?
never got that code back. And then the guy that wrote the code went to work for AWS. So this guy, I looked at him, I was like, well, your company here in town is going to be out of business, because you can't do business like that with people that I'm not in. I hire you to be in your space, to know your space, to know what pitfalls can have. And sure enough, he was out of business about 2 years later. I mean, you go by there and the store's closed, and it needs to be closed. But
Oh,
God he sent me some good coders, and like this guy that's our CTO right now, he just sold his company out for like 1.6 billion. and he loves our calls. He says, Scott, I don't need money, but he had managed up to about 4,000 coders in India, and so he knows what he's doing. We've
Yeah,
got
I'd
the
say
right
so.
team, the right product. So again, it took a while to get there, but where we are now, I'm excited and excited to see what the future has.
And when you think about the future, when people hear things like AI video monitoring, obviously a big talking point, and obviously for good
Right,
reason, is privacy.
right.
And there's more pervasive a technology that's going to keep coming out, and a lot of it's going to help in so many ways. But how do you balance that need for patient safety in this particular situation with that fundamental right to privacy, especially in a
Yeah,
care setting?
yeah, and that's when we sit down, we take that very seriously. And so all of our information is stored right there at the premises on our SafeCore box. It's separately done. So we, take HIPAA, violations serious. And so we don't even use the nursing homes network. We use our own network because again, a lot of the nursing homes network goes out, like they don't have the best of Wi-Fi. So we have Cat 6 wiring, so it's always up. And if it's down, we get notified if a camera's down and stuff. But again, some people, they sign off. We make them sign a form like this camera's in your room, and do you want your body blurred? You want it regular? How do you? The doctors want to see exactly what happened. So a lot of times they would walk in and just find somebody on the floor, but they didn't know, did they slide down on the floor? Did they slip
Right.
on the floor? Did they hit themselves in the head? And if they don't know, they just send them to the hospital to get checked out. And you don't need to be going to the hospital if you don't need to go to the hospital. And so we're saving money there as well. And again, we can turn them into, we can make them whatever we wanted to make them look like, for privacy. And some of them do that, which is good. They have what is the little, I forgot what it's called. The people like not the stick man, but the avatars. Yeah,
Oh, the
we can turn them
avatars.
into an
Yeah.
avatar. Yeah, you want to be Superman, you want to be Supermom. Like we can turn them into whatever they want, and we see a lot of people doing that as well. And so I've tested it out here at the house. Hey, I want this in my house, and again, my father-in-law passed away, and again, once they fall, there's a 25% chance they're going to fall again, and then
Yeah.
then they're scared to walk, and then mom or dad's scared to leave the house, and so it's a problem across the country. Everybody's got somebody living by themselves, and the kids are usually out of state. Like my mother-in-law's in North Carolina, I'm in Tennessee, and I worry about her every day. I was like, hey, let us put the product there, and we can avatar it out, and if you fall, it'll call me and my wife, and we'll send 911 there. So that's happening as we speak, which is kind of cool. So it's
Very cool.
yeah. And
Very
so, but
cool.
we went to the commercial aspect, but I told our team, I said, I want to have something I can just ship out to houses, make it easy, make it simple to install,
Yep.
and then help save lives that way as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's I
Yeah,
mean, that clearly, yeah, that's a whole other area right there
yeah,
is
it's
people,
huge.
older folks living at home and struggling.
Yeah,
My parents are getting older. I worry
yeah,
about them in their home, like
yeah.
it can be tough.
I'm working on that's Simply Safe, the alarm company. They're good. So we're actually talking to a few of those guys as well. Maybe partner up with those guys, Ring, Simply Safe, all those
Yeah.
safety companies, they need AI. They're safety and security, but if you want to come over the top and give real safety and security, you need our technology to push through those cameras. We're AI first, camera agnostic. So we really don't care what kind of camera it is. We just want to help save lives.
I know with some of the other wearables and stuff like that, there was the sort of the systems might cry wolf every once in a while, whether
Yeah.
something accidentally falls apart or anything like that. Does your technology differentiate between maybe a resident simply sitting on the floor for whatever reason, maybe to stretch or and a genuine medical emergency?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So again, we have a human in the loop. So if an alert goes off, it sends it to the human in the loop, and they look at it and say, "Yeah, that's that's a broken hip, or that's a
Mhm.
fall, or they're just doing yoga," right? So
Yeah.
again, like the AI will learn the person if they're doing yoga every day. It may say, "Hey, it's a new thing." I for the first time got a Tesla Cyber Beast truck, and so the first time it drove me home, it parked in front of the house on the road. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. And then so I took control, backed it up, went in and parked, and I drive up the driveway and back in. The next day, when I had it self-driving to come home, it drove in, went to the driveway, pulled up the top, and back straight in where I. So it learns quick. So it learns every day, gets better and better, and it's the same thing for mom or dad in a nursing home. It'll learn, that's a couch, that's a floor, that's a bed,
Wow.
in bed,
Yeah.
in bed, out of bed, and again, for somatic reasons as well, in the room, out of the room. So if mom's usually out of the room 2 or 3 hours a day doing exercise and doing activities, if all of a sudden, if mom's in the room, not out of the room, she's in the room 10, 12 hours a day versus being out, then that's a problem as well. So it'll identify, UTIs before they get there. So again, if she's going to the bathroom twice a day, now she's going 5 times a day. That's a problem. So it's predictive versus reactive. That's probably the best thing about AI. We're working on gait analysis right now because all the people said, "Hey, I like it that it tells me when somebody's fall, but can you help me prevent the fall?" And so again, and everybody has a different gait. So when the mom or dad's in physical therapy, they're being looked at, watched, and they act different. But when they get back to the room, then they're not on showtime. So when they call it a timed up and go. When they get out of their chair and walk across the room and get a coffee, there's, how long does it take them to do that? How long does it take them to get back? And so with the gait analysis, that's the thing that we're working on right now is like, how can we predict the fall? And
Wow. That's
that's many
incredible.
millions of dollars away, but that's what they all want. All the caregivers say, man, I want you to help me help mom or dad not fall.
Yeah. Like keep that from
And
actually happening in the first
yeah,
place. I
yeah,
mean, that's the
yeah.
next step, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Japan's got this outfit to where they're falling. It blows up right before they hit the ground. So it's kind of a crazy thing. It's like a sumo wrestler, but it works. We just again they just won't wear it. They'd rather not wear it and
Yeah, I
fall.
mean that's pretty invasive. I bet for like it's,
Yeah,
but I mean it's a good idea. Like it's
yeah,
certainly a good
it's
idea.
yeah,
But yeah, if we
yeah,
can get to a point where it's you don't need to wear the suit,
yeah,
that's the goal.
yeah. Yeah, like the accelerometers for the watches, they still have a pretty high fall rate. I was playing
Yep.
pickleball the other day, and the guy fell, and it went off. Started calling 911. That's a little, he just fell, but he did fall. It was a good hard fall, but 911 didn't need to be called. It was these watches literally calling 911, and
Right.
so,
Right.
um,
Yeah. I just started
so
playing pickleball.
did you really?
I
Yeah,
did.
I love it. I'm 62 years old, so I figured this 89-year-old at the club plays, and I'm like, if I'm going to live to 90 years old or 100 years old, I'm going to play pickleball and tennis and golf and just stay active.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And
That's
so,
that's the way to do it. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
fun game
so
too. It's fun.
yeah, it is. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's my orthopedic surgeon says he sees a lot of injuries though, which is kind of wild. I guess knee injuries because you're just going back and forth, left and right, and
Yeah,
front
yeah.
and
Well, you
back.
don't have to. It's not like tennis. You don't move as much as you do in tennis, but you do have to move some. And yeah, if your
Yeah,
body's not used to that, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Kind of cool.
I would love to end with something about your experience. You mentioned that you there made some mistakes along the way. There were issues
Yeah,
along the way, and all that
yeah.
stuff. I mean, what's the most difficult leadership lesson that you've learned trying to bring this visionary technology into a highly regulated world of healthcare, especially coming from a background that was
Yeah,
so different from this?
yeah. I think probably the most difficult thing is, and most everything that I've done in the past, I kind of knew how to do it, right? I know how to raise capital. I know how to start companies. I know how to build companies and scale companies. I didn't know how to write code. The last time
Yeah.
I wrote code was in college, 81 to 85, and we wrote Fortran and
I was gonna
COBOL.
say, was it Fortran?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of aging me. So I was like, and I never used it, my whole life. And
Right.
so going into here, I was like learning all the different types of code, learning, the UAI, just learning, it's not just an AI code writer. It takes a team that knows a specialist. It's a specialist. So you have an architect that like puts the team together, and everybody does their own specials, and you put them together to make one product. And that's probably been the hardest, and then to do and to stick by. And again, the call right before this was with the team talking about, we're doing installations and what's good and what's bad, and we're installing this on buses like Kansas City Transit Authority. So we're going to go out there. There's not been AI installed on buses, and they've got the World FIFA tournament coming this year, and there's
Mhm.
going to be sex trafficking and drugs and banned rider lists and all these things that AI can figure out. And so that was interesting, saying, all right, how do we let them run the system that they're running, but yet put our boxes in, run simultaneously, and then take theirs out. And so it's just acting on things, with without fear. Like, we're going to get it done. We're going to save lives, and we're going to fail, but we're really not failing. We're just learning. I've got a PhD in learning, master's. I got a master's in this class from learning, but it's been a good ride. It's been 10 years, and to see it come to fruition, and to help save lives. Literally, the first night we put our elopement in to signature, the first night at 1:01 in the morning, this lady's in her wheelchair, and she knows that if she pushes her foot against the sliding door at more than 15 seconds, it'll open up. But our AI is there. It sees her there. It recognizes she's not supposed to be there, and it locks the door, calls the nurse. She gets there. Elopement saved. Literally saved them
Wow.
$100,000. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, right?
Right.
And so, and a lot of time they just think they're going to the store because they got dementia. So,
Sure.
like, let's not wrap them up and tie them up, and let's let them live their life like they want to live, and just put barriers around it, and to save their to help them help themselves. So
Yeah.
that's what's gratifying.
That's really cool. That's
Yeah,
just what it's
yeah,
great. Amazing technology, amazing
yeah,
story. The company is SafeSpace Global. Scott Boruff, really appreciate you being here.
yeah.
Best of luck moving forward. It sounds like you
That's
guys
it.
got nothing but good things coming.
Yeah, the symbol is SSGC. So we're public. So everybody, go look at the team, look at the management, and we're on the over-the-counter pinks, looking to uplist to the New York American. So would love to have whatever the shareholders out there. Love to have a shareholder because that's who I work for. I work for the shareholders. So I like to add more every month. So Kevin, thanks for the day. Thanks for your time, and thanks for your viewership.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Scott, and we'll talk again soon.